All right, Algebra, lesson 44 is all about common denominators and making common denominators. And, excuse me, it's kind of a neat little trick that we can do here. If you can remember, when you add fractions, you have to have common denominators. For example, 1/11 plus 2/11 equals 3/11. That's all well and good. You can do the same thing with rational expressions. With rational expressions, you're still doing the same thing. You're adding 4 over 2x squared plus y, or algebraically adding, so we're subtracting this one, 6ax minus 2x squared plus y. And notice your common denominators are the same. And you notice that these two terms are different. So we can't add them. We can't add the like terms. So we have 4 minus 6ax. And since we have a common denominator, we can write it the same. Okay, since our denominator is the same, just leave it. Here's another example. All right, there we go. Notice our denominators are the same, so all we're going to do is 5 minus 3 plus z. 5 minus 3 is 2 plus z over a squared plus 7y. So our denominators were the same. Now, as you know, when we have different denominators, what do we have to do? Okay, what we have to do now is we have to make our denominators equal. We can multiply the denominator and the numerator of a fraction by the same number. That way in essence, we are changing the shape of it. So to get a common denominator of 4, we can multiply both of these by 2 to get 1/4 plus 2/4 equals 3/4. That becomes our new common denominator. Okay, that way we can solve that, right? So now let's apply this to this problem. 3/4 over 2b. How can we solve that? We can solve that by making a common denominator. Our common denominator is going to be a mix of both of these. So our common denominator is going to be 4b, because it's a little bit of both. So what do we do with the 3? 3, and then we're going to write a b. Where did that b come from? That's our denominator. We multiplied both sides of this one by b over b. Thusly, we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to multiply this one by 4 over 4. Where did that 4 come from? The 4 came from right there. So that gives us 8 over 4b. So what do we do now? Now that we have a common denominator, we can solve this. We can write 3b plus 8 over 4b, and we have a solved equation. What about this one? Okay, what's our common denominator going to be? I have a 2, I have a b, and a c. So how about 2bc? Okay, so this side is missing 2c, so 4 times 2c. This one's missing 2b times 2b, and this one is missing b and c, so times bc. When I do that, I get 8c, because 4 times 2 is 8 times c over 2bc plus 2b over 2bc plus bc over 2bc. And when I'm done with it, I get 8c plus 2b plus bc over 2bc. Okay? Not too hard of a problem. Now, they do get a little more complicated. M over c to the third power plus 4 over c to the second power minus 6. Now, that gets to be a little bit more. Now, we'll put this 6 over 1 to keep that in mind. So what's our common denominator going to be? Well, all three of these, what can we make to have in common? How about c to the third power is our least common multiple? So to do that now, let's change them all to a denominator of c to the third power. Okay, they all have that. So what were they missing? Well, the m doesn't get anything because it already was to the third power. The 4 gets a c because that was c to the second, and the 6 gets to the third power, c to the third power, because they didn't have anything. When I'm done, I get m plus 4c minus 6c to the third power over c to the third power, and my problem is solved. Try one more. A over c squared plus 3 over 4c to the third power plus m over 3c to the fourth power. All right. What can we have in common? Let's take a look at our numbers first. What's the least common multiple of 4 and 3? 12. Okay, so our first denominator is going to be 12. Now I'll take the c's. What do I need for c's? I need c to the fourth. That's the largest one I have there. Okay? Okay, now let's put everything together. The first term had no numbers, so I'm going to write 12 c squared, and I can't forget that a. The second one has some numbers, okay? So that one already had the 4, so 3 times 3 is 9. That's where I get the 9 from. It already had the 4 to make the 12, so I just need to multiply that one by 3. C. And the fourth one, or the third term, I'm sorry, already had a 3, so I'll multiply that one by 4 to get the 4. M, because I already had c to the fourth power. Now when I solve it, it looks like this. 12ac squared plus 9c plus 4m over 12c to the fourth power. Okay, try practice A through D and lesson 44, and we'll talk tomorrow. Good night. You also have a test tomorrow, by the way.